Well, it's been confirmed. A tornado hit Salisbury, Maryland yesterday afternoon. National Weather Service conducted the survey today. There were winds up to 105 miles per hour. Several cars were flipped over. The photos and video quite impressive. That's the second tornado we've seen in our area recently, and Howard Bernstein has a look at the types of tornadoes we see in this area. Howard.
Yeah, Bruce, this is pretty typical of what we'll see in the mid-Atlantic. A lot of them are on the weak side, the EF0s, EF1s, which winds, you see 65 to 85. You can actually have a tornado that weak spinning up. This one was in the EF1 and then get much stronger. When you get to that EF5, you can get devastating damage. And when you think about the big tornadoes, Frostburg and then La Plata, of course, La Plata back in 2002. That was the second strongest tornado on the East Coast behind Worcester's 1953 tornado. Well, Salisbury winds 105. La Plata had winds up to 260. And while there were only maybe minor injuries in Salisbury, there were 3 direct and 2 indirect deaths caused by the La Plata tornado and, of course, hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. The other thing, which is more typical of tornadoes we see, very short-lived ones. In fact, this one was on the ground for 1.5 miles. It was maybe 100 yards wide. The La Plata tornado was several hundred yards wide and, you know, when it's at its peak, that is, and it was on the ground for almost 70 miles. It started in Marbury in western Charles County, went across through Calvert. Remember the picture from Calvert Cliffs to the twin tornadoes over the bay, and it didn't lift until west of Salisbury. So that is the unusual, the Salisbury tornado, much more typical. Thankfully, again, just some damage and very little in the way of injuries.